Welcome. This is the Life GM, and we're talking today about the art of giving back, philanthropy. How many of you know that there's a skill to giving back? Now, as we go through today's session, see the QR code up in the top left-hand corner? At any point, I want you to scan it. That way you can visit www.thegarydmore.com. You can see everything that we're doing. You can actually visit our store. You can get a copy of the books. You can get a copy of shirts, dry fits, anything that you possibly could want will be there. But most importantly, we're going to go through a teaching lesson today. As I try to encourage everyone to be the GM of your life, that means to take charge of your life, to understand exactly how important you are to you. That way, you can help so many others, which is one of the biggest reasons that I want to talk to you today about philanthropy and giving back. We're going to begin with our first section. Our first section is we want to recognize a need and respond to that need. You have to have a need in some way, form, or fashion going on in your life. Something that's important to you, something that is important to your community. And I want you to be able to reflect on that need. You know, you know, just as you see written here, great movements often begin when one person sees a need and refuses to walk away. Back in 1997, early part of 98, I not only saw a need and refused to look away, but I was looking to start my own business. But before I felt that it was important for me to create generational wealth and to try to raise funding, I felt it was important for me to help to address some of the needs that meant a whole lot to me that was going on at the time in our community. There were so many of them, but I just focused on three. And my immediate focus was to figure out a way to help Pooh Johnson and the Boys and Girls Club stay open. Because the Boys and Girls Club represented a safe haven for so many of our kids. And it was very, very important that not only that I knew and my friends knew, it was important that we let as many people as possible from the business community know the needs. And not only to know the needs, but to figure out a way for them to help us resolve the financial issues and the financial burdens that we were facing at the club at the time. Pooh Johnson was the director at the time, and he was right there in our neighborhood. And that Boys and Girls Club touched so many lives. We were coaching out at Aberdeen in football, and we had baseball leagues and all of that. But that Boys and Girls Club was nationwide, and it touched the lives of a vast majority of people. And that's why we felt like that was more important than anything for our start. We had to start there. We had to start there to let people know of the needs. And then something else that was real important cause that I really felt that was important in is preventing gun violence. And we also wanted to recognize AIDS awareness. We wanted to make people aware of AIDS and HIV education, because even before the great Magic Johnson um, confessed to the world that he had HIV, I I had it hit right in my home. I actually lost one of my first cousins who I used to spend a lot of time with, and come to find out that he succumbed to complications from the AIDS virus. Now, there has to be a method to what I'm about to explain to you, and how we were able to help the cause, and how today there's a whole different set of problems in our community. There's a whole different set of solutions. But the first thing that we have to do is we have to help each other, because we all need one another. And I am here today to help as many of you as I can to understand the importance of giving back and the art of doing so. You have to figure out a way to bring people together to reach one goal. And as difficult as that may sound, I believe that the method that we used back in the day would help many of you do some of the same things. So I'm going to go through each section with you. And in each section, I want you to look to your worksheet. And I want you to figure out how you can fit what we're talking about today in whatever it is that you would like to see happen in your community. I wonder if you could visualize this. A simple game of slow pitch softball. Not only turned into a national phenomenon, but it was the very catalyst that helped us to raise awareness to those three problems that we were looking at back in those days. I'm just an ordinary guy, just like many of you. But how many of you know that it takes ordinary people to help produce extraordinary results? And I started by bringing a group of people who I had relationships in my life. They were advisors. Many of them were professionals. I knew advisors. I had many associates, people who I worked with, people who I played softball with, you know, people who I went to school with at some day. And I found a very good and select group. And I brought us all together. And we used to have meetings. I like to call it was the steering committee for what ended up being the classic. And just like in any set of relational intelligence, you have advisors that walk into your life at some point, you have associates, you have assignments. and you have friends. And all of us work together to put a game plan together to see if we could raise the awareness of the needs of our local Boys and Girls Club to keep that club open. And what started as a simple game of softball, it led to us being able to make a $50,000 donation to, in fact, keep the doors open to that Boys and Girls Club and spread it across Southampton roads to a club over there. And as a result, we also led to us having what is today called a donor advised fund that's housed at the Peninsula Community Foundation. And it is still to this day helping people in the community to put together very rock solid programs. And some people have football programs, and some people have baseball programs that have been able to benefit from this fund. And in addition, we were able to help to start an endowed scholarship program. Endowments, they never die. The money is always there, and it gets to a point where it needs to grow, and it continues to grow. And to this very day, we have 2 select historically Black colleges and universities who are able to help young people to go to school. Now, this started back in 1995, 90, 96, 97, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it's now 2025. So that's a prime example of how what you can do today can help so many of the future generations, people and young people that are coming behind us. Let me tell you how you can do that. First, you have to recognize your cause. Find a cause that you're passionate about. And then define your goal for giving back. Because listen, if you don't have a vision, and just like it says here, a vision without a clear aim is just a wish. And you want to get beyond wishing. You want to get to action. And just have a clear aim. This is what I want to do. This is how we need to do it. And if you can find one thing that people enjoy, and in our case, it was softball. There's a lot of people back in 1997, 98, 99, and into the 2000s who our greatest passion was playing softball. We played it Monday, Tuesday. We were in leagues on Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, we played tournaments. I figured if we could just get a game going, just get one game, with the focus being to raise awareness of the needs of the Boys and Girls Club, have people out there to educate people on AIDS awareness, and always talk about curtailing gun violence, then that would go a long way in what we were looking to achieve. And sure enough, we continued on And remember, I was telling you earlier about putting together your support team. If you get enough people together who enjoy what they're doing, they would be more willing to help you give back as well, because they will buy into the programs and the support that you're looking to raise. That's a part of everyone working together to reach one goal. Now, the most important part of this, yes, first you must identify your cause. But the most important part is going through what it takes to put your plan together. You have to go to your city government, find out what it takes to get a special event permit. Do whatever you need to do. Don't look at it as a hindrance. Look at it as a requirement. Get your special event permit. Make sure that any of the limitations that you need for an insurance certificate, because you can't have people out in the public playing ball or doing anything else without a certificate of insurance. And each city government has certain requirements that you must meet in order to protect those who are coming out to help you and to pay and to see the games that are going on. And then make sure that you have all of your health and safety requirements. If you're going to have food, you have to have health permits. Back when we started doing what we were doing, man, we had the health department out at the events from which we held and made sure that every food vendor that we used had its proper health permit and its credentials. You can't look at it as an obstacle. You have to look at it as a requirement. And those things that you have to do, you must do. And we went over every hurdle that came in our way because it was productive and it was important. And once we got it done, it made it better in the years that followed. One of the most important things that we had as far as permits were concerned, we had to make sure, first you have to make sure you have your business license. You have to make sure, if you're a not-for-profit, you have to make sure that you have your 501c3. Have all of that in place. Because without it, people can't get a proper deduction for the donations. And you want to have as many of your local and state run companies in support of what it is that you are doing. So with that being said, understand your process. Go through the process that you have to do. Get all of your permits. Don't accept no from anyone. Just say that you'll never give up, because whatever you need, you go and get it, because you believe that strongly in the cause that you're there to support. And with that being said, as we got going, man, we just had one slow pitch softball game. And it was one of the best days I can remember back then that we had had. We had all of the people that we played on the weekends with come in and help us with this one game by just participating. And by bringing all those people together, all of us coming together, it helped us because they bought into our needs. And as we continued to have it, it just continued to grow each and every day. And I'm telling you that you can do the very same thing. And that's what I'm telling you. But the first step is those first 7 days after you decide what it is that you were going to do. Call a friend. Talk to them about what it is that you're trying to do. Reach out to local businesses. See who, if it came down to it, would you be willing to sponsor such an event? Do all your research, find all the permits that you need, and get them, because it's just that important. A dream becomes real the moment that you take the first step, and that is the first step, making everything legal in the process. And in closing, here's my inspiration to you. Giving back is not reserved for the wealthy or the famous. It's for anyone willing to take the first step toward change. And that's what we have to do as individuals. That's what we have to do as the GM of our lives, taking control of our lives and doing things the right way, for the right reasons, for the right causes. I want to leave you with a challenge. And I do want you to work on your worksheet, because in each and every section, I want you to be able to name a cause that's near and dear to you. Put together people who you think would be very, very good to have on your team. You need advisors. Advisors are people, are professionals that can give you professional advice. You can have your associates, because you know your associates who you work with every day, who you go to school with every day. They'll have the time to listen to you and understand what it is that you're trying to do. Have people who you're assigned to. You may be assigned to coaching the team or speaking to a self-empowerment group or mentoring a young person. Talk to their parents. You'll never know until you bring people together and let them hear your cause. But my final challenge is this. I want you to finish this sentence for me. Don't have to be today. Don't have to be tomorrow. You don't even have to tell me how to finish it. I want you to tell yourself. I can inspire change by. You fill in the blank. I can inspire change by. Thank you for your time. Hey, listen, keep up with the Life GM, because I am determined to empower and to encourage each and every one of us, no matter what we're doing in life, to be the general manager, be the GM. And by being the GM, that just means you'll surround yourself with the right people. You'll develop strategies for success, and you will always protect your vision. Visit www.thegarydmoore.com or scan the QR code that you see and listen for our next session, because we have at least 2 more free sessions that will teach empowerment, just from simple things that we all can do and that we do each and every day to make life better for somebody else. Good night.